my name's Becky. I'm a teaching artist with Theatre Horizon, and today I'm going to be teaching you a little bit about voice projection and also running you through a vocal warm-up, because when we do get back on that stage, we want to make sure that we are loud enough to be heard to all the members of the audience. So, as you know, as actors, our job is to drive the story forward, and one of the main ways that we do that is by using our voice. The other ways we do that is through our bodies and using our minds and our hearts as well, but main ways we want to do that is by using our voice. So we want to make sure that we are loud enough and ready to be heard when we're on stage. Now, one of the first things that we're going to do is warm up a little bit just to get kind of the air flowing through our body. So go ahead and stretch upwards towards the sky, stand up and wiggle those fingers. Absolutely good. And stretch forward. And loosen up those hips, just get air and blood flowing everywhere, and kind of pretend as if you're stretching forward, you're trying to grab something in front of you. Just reach forward and try to grab something in front of you. Good, good. And then slowly stand back up so you don't get yourself dizzy. And stretch over your head and place your hands on your rib cage on the side there, and just try to take a deep breath into those rib cage. So if you thought your breath was something that you could physically hold and you could send it somewhere, think about it literally being sent into your rib cage. So just breathe into that rib cage. Good. And now to the other side, just breathe into that rib cage. Good, good. And you are physically stretching your rib cage as you're doing that, just going out this way, which is really interesting and fun. So the first things that I like to do in my class when we start our vocal warm-up journey is to find our diaphragm. Because when you breathe on stage, you want to make sure that you're breathing from your diaphragm so that you can sustain a lot of breath so that you can send it further, right? If we breathe from our lungs, sometimes when we breathe in, we don't get necessarily a nice deep breath in that we can sustain to be able to send far, because it's just doesn't work that way. So we breathe down here from our diaphragm. So what you do is you're going to stick your thumbs together, put them into your belly button, just stick them straight into your belly button there, and flop your hands down. Now where that little triangle is, this is where your diaphragm is. So this is where we are breathing from. So what that physically looks like when we breathe from our diaphragm is that our bellies are going to go in and out. Normally when we take just an everyday breath, we're breathing from our lungs, so our chest goes up and down. And when we breathe from, like I just did there, when we breathe from our diaphragm, your belly goes in and out. So first thing you want to keep your belly nice and loose, right? So go ahead and get that belly all nice and loose and let it hang out there. And let's feel the difference of what it feels like when we do a normal everyday breath. So go ahead and take a normal everyday breath. Yeah, with your hand right on your chest there like that. Go ahead. And as you can see, my chest is going up and down. So if you look up here, ready? Switch hands so you can see. Yeah, you can see my whole upper half of my body going up and down. And so when we take a breath from our diaphragm, you'll see the difference. My chest is going to stay put, but my belly is going to go in and out. So just breathe into your diaphragm. Good, and my belly went far out. You saw that. It's almost like if I lean back and pretend like maybe I was pregnant or had a bigger belly, right? So go ahead and take that deep breath in from your diaphragm again. Nice big deep breath from your belly. Good, and as I let it go, you can see my belly went back in. So you want to make sure that this tummy, your belly, stays really loose throughout the performances that you do, because that's where you want to be breathing from. Because if you take any breaths from up here, they can become short, they become strained, and you won't be able to project your voice out. So now that we know where to breathe from, let's talk a little bit about how to get our breath all the way there. So one of the things that we can practice that by doing is go ahead and stick your hand right behind your head. And you're going to breathe from your diaphragm. I just breathe from your chest. Let's breathe from our diaphragm. And I want you to pretend like you can throw your voice. And we're going to use our arms as we're doing that, almost as if we're picking up our voice from the back of our throat or our necks, and we're just throwing it out with us. We're going to do it on an ah sound. So you're going to go ah, nice open sound when we do that. So breathe from our diaphragm and then throw our voice. Ah. Good. And you can see you could do that for quite some time if you had a good breath from up here, or from down here rather. And again, it's just throwing it out. And so this, always think of it this way, right? Throwing that breath. And you never want your hand to go, when you're doing it this way, to go all the way down, because we never want our voice to go down to the floor, because then people can't hear. It's up and out. So it's almost like it's going on this roller coaster ride and then leveling out, right? So let's go both hands behind our heads, and then we can go on that ah sound again. And this time we're throwing our sound out to both corners of the room. So we want to make sure that every audience member can hear us on each side, right? So go ahead and breathe from that diaphragm. Take a big deep breath in. Good. That belly should go out, and good. And you can hear I went down at the end there. That's fine. I was just running out of breath. And as you're doing that sound, you should feel your belly even going in, because you're depleting that air that you've put down into your diaphragm. And so we can do that now with a touch on sound, or even more so with words. So again, always thinking that you're throwing your voice out. So it's okay to get loud. Friends, that's what we want you to do here, right? The point is to be loud. So warn your neighbors. If you live in close quarters, let your family know that you're going to do this. Get them to join in with you and test this out to be loud, okay? So get a big deep breath from your diaphragm, and then what we're going to do is we're going to throw our voice again, but we're just going to count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. But we're going to use our breath and our ability to be louder as we're doing that, right? Because now we have that sustained breath. And we're never yelling, and we're never screeching, but we are being loud. We're using a loud sound, okay? So place your hand behind your neck, good. And from the diaphragm, breathe into your diaphragm, breathe into the belly, make it go out. Good, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. You can see it all came from down here. I didn't really strain up here. I didn't move anything up here. So if it's hard for you to understand, if it's hard for you to physically, in your mind's eye, see, or not physically, but in your mind's eye, see what I'm talking about, just try to feel it in your body. Is my chest moving? Is my belly moving? And that will help you along the way. All right, so one of the things we want to do now to really get that idea that we're throwing our voice as far as we can is we're going to, like a javelin or a football, if you play football, hold it in a spiral and you throw it this way. So we're even going to just take one little step back, and we're going to do one of these as we're talking. See if we can physically throw our voice even farther. And you're picking a spot on the back of the room, wherever you're looking right now, and you're trying to get your voice as if it were like a dart to hit that spot, and this motion is just to help with that idea, right? This is just to guide you to do it. So either your voice is a dart, or you're throwing the football of your voice, but you're trying to hit it in one little target area that you're picking across the room. So have that football, or think of that dart, and breathe from your diaphragm, nice big deep breath. Ooh, hold on. Deep breath from your diaphragm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. That's good. And that should you should feel yourself getting louder as you're doing that. So let's go back to our standing position. And when you're just standing in actor neutral, you want your knees to be above your toes, your hips to be in line with your knees, a little bit of a bend, never lock your knees, that's not good. A little bit of a bend, and just your arms by your side. And this is just actor neutral. And this is just a practice to see if we can get that same volume and same projection of our voice that we did with this as we're just standing here. So big deep breath from your diaphragm again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Good. Well, that's it in a nutshell, friends. It's a very truncated and small version of a vocal warm-up and exercise that we do as actors. So just make sure that you're practicing that. Make sure that you're feeling your belly move in and out when you breathe, and because that's giving you the power to push that volume out further, to push that volume out louder. If your chest is going up and down, don't get discouraged. Just try to envision your breath in some kind of imagery way. I like to think of it as maybe a pool of water or a river. So if it starts up here on the river, I like to send the river down my body all the way through so that it collects into a pool down here. Maybe a hot spring or something down in my diaphragm. But if that imagery doesn't work for you, you can think of an image of a balloon. So when you breathe into a balloon, it gets bigger. When you release air from the balloon, it gets smaller, and that's essentially what your diaphragm is doing. It's getting bigger when you put air into it, and it's getting smaller when you release that air. And you're just going to think of that balloon down here when you're doing that. And if you're somebody who needs to have a physical representation of that, just pay attention to if your chest is moving up and down or your belly is moving in and out. And then you have all that air to sustain to push it further, and when you're pushing your breath out and your sound out, you want to make sure you're going to both sides of the room. Now I know that on a normal day-to-day when we're in close quarters, we maybe want to use our inside voices. When we're practicing for theater, we want to use our outside voices as much as possible, but that doesn't mean screaming, and that doesn't mean screeching. So if you feel your throat straining at all, then you are screeching, and that's not what you want to do. So yeah, there you go, friends. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope everyone's being safe and washing their hands. Hopefully we'll see you soon.